This is the LanLan flower copter. Now, for those of you who do not know, this is just like the curvy copter, but it gets a little bit more interesting. I actually have a curvy copter right here, also by LanLan. Now, you might be able to see that it does have identical pieces. They aren't the exact same size, but it does have the edge right here, corners, and it has these pedal pieces, one here and one here. You'll notice it actually does look just like a pedal on this one, but it's got these two pieces that are split into it. But if you look, it still turns like a curvy copter. In fact, it also just jumbles like one. Now you could see a little bit more clearly that these three pieces together make up one of these pedals. Now, I did say that there are some interesting things about this puzzle. Well, one cool thing about it is it's also a corner turning puzzle. I actually don't have a ready cube, but I do have a dino cube, which is essentially the same thing. However, this does turn just like it because it treats it as if it does treat it as if there are these edge segment pieces. Like you can see here would be one edge segment, which does break up the pedal pieces from these lines, because then if you do a curvy copter turn, it then gets it away, like moves it away from where it's supposed to be. So yeah, those are the two types of turning. The reason why I said it's more like a ready cube is because it still has these corners. It is the same size as a regular curvy copter, which is the same size as a 3x3. Now here's where this puzzle gets really interesting. As I've said, it does these turns on the corners and these turns on the edges. Well, here's the thing. It does jumble as well, but what you can do with it is if you actually line the puzzle up, you can also just jumble these little segments inside that make up the pedals. So they end up sticking out of the cube physically. This does actually end up creating a little bit of external bandaging, which has been a problem with these types of cubes in the past. As you can see, it kind of gets in the way there, and it limits the moving really fast, and you get stuck in a state where you can't get too much of this jumbling going, but you could still get a fair amount. That is one of the problems I have seen with the curvy copter, is you have very limited jumbling moves before it just stops the entire cube, and most of the jumbling limitations are an external limitation, where the jumbling blocks it physically on the outside like you have seen, as opposed to on the inside, which is the typical jumbling, and that would be blocking it like this, where this cannot turn because it does not make the cut there. However, it also blocks this because it bumps into the piece, but it doesn't actually interfere with anything in the mechanism. Now, onto the actual puzzle's turning. As you might have seen, it catches quite a bit. You do get used to it, just don't try to force anything with it. Pretty much turns like the curvy copter, but with so many more pieces, it does catch a lot more. This is a lot more smooth. But once it gets going, it's identical. This does have another issue that the curvy copter does not, and it's a problem with, well, if you turn the puzzle a lot and you have it up in the air, you start getting it to misform. So it goes out of shape really easily, like this, where you can see it's all wonky, and this causes the turning to become a lot harder to do. So you're going to actually want to table the puzzle quite a bit while you're solving it. It's not too difficult of a puzzle. It does take quite a while to solve it. It really isn't too hard. It's more just conceptually you need to think about, if I need to make this piece go somewhere else, where do I have to move it in order for it to go there? And it also combines the aspects of doing edge turns and corner turns, because if you limit yourself to just one of the types of turning, you'll never get it into the correct place. So that's my review on this puzzle. I will say this is actually a very inexpensive puzzle for the complexity of it, and it's really fun. It is a bit tedious to solve, but it's still very interesting, and it's aesthetically a beautiful puzzle. I will definitely recommend this puzzle. So, see you guys later.